Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. And now we've got the 24 part of that intro now. We've done the 23 part. It's now for the 24 part because it's a new year. Yes, none of us have played any FPL this entire year. What are we thinking? Well, of course, it's been a while since we last had a deadline. In fact, I didn't even do a deadline stream for Gameweek 20, so this is my first deadline stream in, I think, since before Christmas? No, that can't be right. It must have been the 26th of December. So, yeah, like, that's what, like, man, it's been a while since I've done a deadline stream. That's all I'm saying. And for that reason, we are going to be blessing the show team gang with a bit of New Year good spirits. And I am actually going to show my team today. I don't know why. I don't really feel like doing any pranks today, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to show you my team. I think my team is so unique by this point that it's really probably not gonna impact too many people. I don't think anyone's following along with my transfers and teams too much at this moment. That's what it seems like, which is good. So I think we've potentially dealt with that situation. But yeah, guys, hopefully you're all doing well. It's nice to see a few of you, some familiar names in the chat. Hopefully we'll have more join in as we draw closer and closer to the first deadline of 2024, which is just exciting stuff. It really, really is. We've got chips around the corner. We've got double game week announced today as well. Of course, Man City and Brentford will now be doubling for sure in game week 25. So that's a big double game week first of the year. Well, calendar year at least. So yeah, that's exciting stuff. Could see Liverpool drop in there as well, potentially. But we'll find out more information between the 21 and 22 deadlines. But honestly, honestly, guys, I think the next 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks, between Game Week 21, as soon as this deadline passes, it's going to be a fun time. It really is going to be a fun time because we've got FPL spread across like a big time. I mean, look at these fixtures here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different days of Premier League football on, all in one game week, and it's not even a double game week. It is such a spread out game week. It's gonna be chaotic, particularly as we get to this second half, and maybe new information comes in around this time, and we're like, what is going on? It's gonna be crazy, but these are things that we love. We love a bit of craziness. We love a bit of chaos, and chaos is always a ladder in FPL. We like it. We like taking advantage of those situations. So, guys, let me share with you where I'm at. Quickly, a quick hello to a couple of people in the chat. If you're a member in the chat, do make yourself known so I can say a little hello to you. We've got to say hello to the members. Overtino is here. Hi, Dan. It feels like a long time since last deadline. Yeah, like, for real. Like, what has it been? It's been 2 weeks, right? Which is a lifetime. It's an absolute lifetime. -8 for me this week. Well, that is a big boy move. It certainly is a big boy move. Luke V, member for 35 months. So yeah, good to see you being a member for so long. That's pretty much the entire duration of the FPL Mate YouTube channel. So that's pretty sick. Yash, nice to see you. Happy New Year to you as well. A few people asking about the bench list. Oh, don't you worry. There will be a bench list today. There's always a bench list. That's what we do on these deadline streams. Ryan says, just show your team, mate. I know what some people... the show team gang are here for one reason only, and that is to see a team. They don't care about anything else. They don't care. People always ask, how's your team? Nobody ever asks, how's Dan? But regardless, let's have a look at my team. So, let's give the people what they want, the show team gang what they want. This is what I'm dealing with at the moment. I've used one free transfer already. I will be using a second free transfer by deadline. I'm pretty sure at this point I'm going to be going for Foden as my Son replacement. And then I'm sort of settled. I'm sorted. Like, it's kind of a unique situation whereby I haven't needed to take a hit. I've got another free transfer to use. And I like my team. I think it feels like a lot of things have gone wrong for me this season. But this week, it kind of looks like everything is falling in. Everything's falling in my favour in many ways, which is kind of nice. I kind of like this feeling. I feel so powerful this game week. What can we do? I think we can. I think we could do the business this week. I think it could be pretty fun. So yes, yeah. So after Son's gone, it's going to leave me with a team with Dubravka against City, which I know is a bit, but I expect him to make saves at the very least. A defence of Pedro Porro, Gabriel and Gusto, which I think is reasonably strong. Gusto should be good for this game week at least. I know there's a couple of Chelsea players coming back from injury, but Badiashile and is it Chilwell as well? These guys coming back, but I think it's going to be a slow re-entry for them into the team, and Gusto should be good for this game week, which is all I care about, really. Brennan Johnson in the midfield. Could he do some damage against Manchester United? Well, the tactical matchup suggests that maybe. Obviously, Johnson playing on the right-hand side of that kind of attack for Spurs, and the left-hand side has been a bit of a weak spot for Manchester United this season, so that could work out pretty well. We'll have Foden in there for Son, probably, unless anyone can change my mind at the last minute, but I doubt it. Cole Palmer is my captain, and my captain picks are notoriously horrific, so if you believe in fate or anything like that, or luck, or anything, predestination, then you should probably know by now that whoever I captain is not going to be the best captain pick. I've had a stinker all season when it comes to captaincy. So Palmer is the guy I'm on. The only thing that bothers me about Palmer is the fact that he's playing like the early fixture, the early game on the Saturday, which often is painful, particularly if you've got to wait. If Palmer blanks, I've got to wait a week and a half to see if I maybe should have gone for someone else. My other two considerations in my team are Saka and João Pedro. Do low-key like João Pedro as a captaincy shout, but real differential, he doesn't play for like 2.5 weeks against Wolves, so a lot can happen between now and then, so I'm a little bit worried about that one. It feels a little bit crazy. It feels like it could be painful, but Cole Palmer is my favourite captain for this game week. He just is my favourite guy. Now, that often doesn't go to plan. Oh, of course, we've got Saka there in midfield against Crystal Palace. Hopefully he can return to form. Joao Pedro, he is a new signing. Picked him up last night. Mubama making way. So we have moved to a 3-4-3 formation with Salah moving to the bench and an upgrade on my 8th attacker, which is now Joao Pedro. Nice and cheap guy there. I think he'll actually do really, really well. I'm not worried about his minutes at the moment. On penalties, good form, great attacking threat. Very good fixtures. I think everything has fallen into place for Joao Pedro. I think he's going to be a really nice differential pick. And I think a few people will struggle to get him in, particularly if you're like, I don't know, if you're on Solanke, Watkins and Alvarez, or Solanke, Watkins and Haaland, or Solanke, Watkins and Darwin. These seem to be the most template, like, kind of forward lines. There's not really room for Joao Pedro in there. So, again, like, I feel like as someone who had Mubama on the bench, and I hadn't moved to the 3-4-3 formation yet, I think that's actually kind of becoming a little bit of an advantage to me. So, like that lot. Alvarez is going to be starting, we imagine, because Erling Haaland has been ruled out for Gameweek 21. So, there's going to be no Haaland. No Haaland this game week, which I guess is kind of... I mean, it's annoying. We want to get a better picture of Haaland. At least we know he's not playing this game week. So I think Alvarez is just going to stay in my team until Haaland is looking likely to be back. I've got plenty of money in the bank, so I can make that upgrade from Alvarez to Haaland whenever that needs to happen. But whilst Haaland is out, Alvarez is going to be a huge pick. And if Haaland is out next game week as well, and I don't know if he will be, is Alvarez a decent captain shout for that game week? Home against Burnley? It's a pretty decent fixture. Penalty taker, set piece taker, central striker for, one of the best teams in world football against one of the weakest teams in the Premier League. Pretty good, right? And we've got Watkins to finish off my starting 11. On the bench, we've got Turner, Taylor, Trippier, and Mo Salah, who I'm going to hold. And I can't speak about this too much because there's a lot of Egyptians who watch this YouTube channel. A lot of Egyptians who play FPL, actually. Egypt is like one of the biggest countries for FPL in the world. There's a lot of Egyptian FPL managers. So I have to be careful when I say this and not to upset too many people. But all I'm going to say is Egypt are not exactly favourites to win AFCON. And I predict that Salah will probably be back in game week 24. So only 3 game weeks out for Salah. I think game week 23, for Salah to come back in game week 23 is very, very possible as well, depending on how the draws go. And if so, Salah out for only 2 or 3 game weeks, with a double in 25 most likely. Hey, that's pretty good. So I will be looking to keep Salah. So I probably just keep holding him. Keep holding him. Unless Egypt do really, really well in their next couple of games. I mean, I think Egypt are going to play all of their group games and their round of 16 game before the game week 22 deadline. So I can always reassess. But I think it's kind of, for me, I think I would want to keep Salah. And I think if it's possible for you guys, you probably should keep Salah. I'd much rather sell Son than Salah. I think there's lots of those premium players at the moment. Some of them are worth holding, some of them not. To varying degrees. Like, none of them are going to be played this week. If we look at Haaland, Salah, Trent, and Son, those 4 guys, we've got to work out who's going to be back first. And in all likeliness, it's going to be Son back last. So, let's see. It's a risk either way, whoever you sell. If you sell Salah, and he ends up not coming back till after game week 25, and, maybe Egypt win the whole thing, and then they end up going on a tour of Egypt to show off their trophy. Who would blame them? Then, we could see Salah actually not even back till like midway through 25. So it could be pretty crazy. But you never know what's going to happen. You just have to play the odds. That's what FPL is all about. We've got a few super chats, so let's catch up on them. Phil Salmon with a €5 super chat. Thank you very much, Phil. Says, bench Garnacho or Diogo Jota? Same expected points for both. Loving the content as always. Happy New Year. Thank you very much, Phil. That's a difficult question, isn't it? I think I would punt on the Diogo Jota upside, though. We know that Jota's probably riskier of the two. I think Diogo Jota against Bournemouth, that's a fixture that's going to really, really suit Liverpool. And I do expect them to score goals in that game. Jota, if he starts, we know he's going to be a very, very potent, very, very dangerous player. I would say that he is, per 90 minutes, Diogo Jota is going to be the better pick than Garnacho. And Spurs, they don't have the best defence, but they do have a knack of keeping the ball out of the back of the net more so than you would expect from their numbers. And that's mostly down to Vicario, who's a brilliant goalkeeper. So, yeah, I think I would start Diogo Jota, personally. Haroon says, free transfer, Son to Gross, worth a punt? Yeah, definitely. Why not? Why not? Gross is probably one of my favourite midfielders to buy right now. For me, personally, he's a little bit boring. He's not going to be a crazy player who scores you a 15-pointer. I mean, I guess it could happen. It could happen to anyone, but it's not super likely. He's more likely going to be a player who gets an assist every other game week or something like that. But he's super reliable. He's going to be nailed on. He's a long-term pick. The fixtures are good. The only risk really with Gross is that he moves back to a slightly more defensive position at some point in the future. Don't know when that's going to happen. But for now, Gross is good. Yeah, he's a very much a reliable... I think some people call these glue picks. The players that just sit in your team, that glue in your team. Don't expect massive things from them, but they're reliable, they're safe, they tick along, and you just put them in your team and you stop worrying about them. You stop worrying about that position. And given that he's quite cheap, there's not a real risk to him, really. So yeah, Gross, nice pick, solid, but maybe not quite exciting enough for me personally. All I'm going to say on that one. Roger Max with a $5 super chat. Let's see. Surely I have to Gameweek card. Gameweek card? Wild card, do we mean maybe? So Roger, surely I have the wild card. Flagged Son, Salah, Taylor, Bowen, Simicast. One transfer. Team Mubama. Oh yes, you got Mubama as well. Gordon, Saliba, Gabriel, Porro, Alvarez, Watkins. -8 minimum. Yeah, you are looking at a -8 minimum really. We're really going up to a -12 potentially if you want to sort your team out in a meaningful way. I don't mind taking it if you really do want to hold the wild card. I don't mind taking a -8 this week. I think a few people will be taking a -8. Roger also says, I like your wild card team, but what about Alvarez for Haaland and Areola for Turner? Yeah, both of those changes are definitely viable. If you want to play it that way. I don't think in the wildcard team I made, I don't think you need to have Alvarez necessarily. You could just, you could potentially just have, like, I don't know, just play Garnacho. Because that's going to work there. The other option, if you don't want to hold on to Haaland, there is also the option to hold on to Salah. And you could go for João Pedro instead of Garnacho and Salah instead of Haaland, essentially, in that wildcard setup. And it gives you a similar situation, but just you change which premium that you're, banking on returning first, I guess. So, yeah, something like that could work, Roger. I'm probably... feels like I'm, like, the only FPL content creator who actually doesn't mind the wildcard strategy for Game Week 21. It works. You just have to think about it a little bit. If you think about it and consider when the blanks are going to be, when the doubles are going to be, who is likely to blank and double, and you make some predictions, it could definitely pay off. If your team is in a really bad spot, it could pay off. It could work. It really could. So, yeah, I'm not totally against it. I'm really not. And you can make some really nice points in the short term, plus cancel out your minus. I have no reason to say that it wouldn't work. So, Roger, if you like it, go for it. If you are a little bit worried and you want to have that flexibility in future game weeks, though, hold off, take the -8. LB says, just want to say I am at 910k. It feels like the FPL is an endurance game. You just have to keep going. Good luck to everyone this week. Just need to carry on. LB, thank you very much for the super chat, first of all. But I think you're totally right. Honestly, sometimes things don't go your way in FPL. And believe me, I know that this season. But, like, this time last year, what was I ranked? I was probably... LB, genuinely, I was ranked similar area to you last season at this time in the season. Might have even been worse. And I finished 30k. So, the season is far from over. It really is. And particularly when we get to the likes of chip strategies and stuff like that, as long as you haven't spunked your chips in the first half of the season, you're going to have some serious opportunities to overtake some of the less engaged FPL managers. You really are. And we're going to have you covered with chip strategy videos starting from the Game Week 22 content, which is really going to help you out. It's really going to hopefully revolutionize your seasons, because yes, FPL is an endurance game, but FPL is also, in many ways, a game of patience. And the only rank that really matters is the one after game week 38. So, patience. Let's see what happens. There's still many points to be gained. Many points. The heroic DOS says, start Pow or Archer. I would start Pow. I don't even think Archer will play. Brereton Diaz has a very good chance of starting and Archer moving to the bench. So I would, I think I would start Pau Torres against Everton. Everton have only scored 2 goals in the last 4 games, all comps. So that is obviously a trend, a downward trend for Everton. I guess they are looking weaker and weaker as time goes on at the moment. Now they found themselves out of the relegation zone. Dyche's speciality is no longer needed. And mediocrity can return. It's probably a bit harsh. But yeah, Pau Torres, I would back against Everton this week. Archer, I think you're looking at a possible 1-pointer this week, to be honest. It has to be said, I have a sneaking suspicion that Sheffield United might do some damage against West Ham this week. We'll see what happens there. Right, moving on to some other super chats. Let's catch up with these bad boys. Linus says, what's your chip strategy, Dan? Do you eat them before or after the burger? Oh, first of all, don't eat burgers because I don't eat beef. But I tell you that I do have an occasional chicken burger. I do have the occasional chicken burger because I don't eat red meat. But I like kind of alternating it a little bit, mixing it up. Take a bite from the burger or your chicken nuggets or, you know, your chicken pieces, whatever you got. Take a bite from the chicken, couple of chippy chips, then back onto the chicken. Back and forth, back and forth. A mix in the mouth. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Things we like to see. Revs in the chat says, let's go João Pedro gang. Having flashbacks through to that Watford double game week shambles. Oh, don't even remind me, man. Don't even remind me. I mean, it's a different scenario. It's a different scenario. It's a new time now from the Dennis pain, I guess. Of what's that? 2 years ago now? Was that 2 seasons ago? Was it that long ago? I don't know. Ethan says, Dan, I've got Son and Salah, Mubama, Trent, Taylor. Who should I sell? Need to make 2 transfers to have a playing 11. I would sell Son as the first one to sell. And then maybe upgrade Mubama or Taylor. Taylor up to Estupinian, Mubama up to João Pedro or Solanke or Watkins or Alvarez or Tony. The options up front at the moment, the forward options are legitimately very good. Legitimately very nice at the moment. Athava says -8 for Foden, Jota, Estupinian. Have to take a minimum -8 for a complete team. Yeah, I mean, if you're not using a wild card, I would just continue taking hits until you have a starting 11. At the very least. You know, a -4 hit to remove a player who isn't even going to play is really a -2 hit if we consider that the player is at least going to get 2 points for playing, right? So it does make sense to take hits until you have a full starting 11. Yeah, just keep picking up players and see what you can get. See if you can build towards a nice team with those hits. I don't have a problem with anything really up to a -8 hit this week. At -12, you have to start thinking about a wild card, particularly if you don't like the rest of your team. But from -8, I'd happily go to a -8 this week if I needed to. Particularly if, you know, I just use it as an opportunity to get a bunch of players that I really wanted. I would use this as opportunity. This bad situation that you find yourself in, I'd use it as an opportunity. Take a load of hits, build the team, basically like a mini wild card. Like a mini wild card to build that team that you really actually want moving forward. Bring in those dream players of yours. Beautiful stuff. Ty Truong says, Gross and Darwin or Pedro and Jota? That's a toughie. I think Pedro and Jota have the higher ceiling, so I'm going to say them. That's probably the kind of direction I'd prefer to go for. Pedro and Jota. I mean, I've already bought Pedro, and Jota is firmly on my radar, so yeah, probably says it all. Harry Bow says, hi, mate. Hello, Harry Bow. Nice to see you again. Would you play Bernardo versus Newcastle over Solanke versus Liverpool? I need to bench 1. I think I'll back Solanke just because of those pens. And Liverpool are missing a few defenders at the moment. They've got no left back, got no right back. Got a couple of centre-backs and a goalkeeper, but you need a bit more than that. Yeah, I think Solanke could do the damage against Liverpool. He's an informed player. Bernardo's fine. I don't know for sure that Bernardo's even going to start, though, to be fair. He probably will. But you don't know it for sure. Whereas Solanke, you're pretty confident that he's nailed on. Bernardo is likely to start, though. But is he, even if Man City score a couple of goals against Newcastle, how certain are you that Bernardo gets a goal or an assist in that? Like, think about it. So let's assume Man City score 2 goals, Bournemouth score 1 goal. You're backing Solanke to be involved in that 1 goal more than you'd be back Bernardo to be involved in those 2 goals, I think. So I think that probably will be how I'd answer that question. Go for Solanke. We'll probably do a quick bench list, hopefully, to answer some of those questions as well. Giandre says, popped in to say hi. Can't stay tonight. Good luck. Thank you very much, Giandre. Absolute legend. Hope you're doing good, my brother. And yeah, good luck for the... Good luck for the game week. Rob Lewis says, Dan's my kind of guy with the burger and fries alternating strap. Yeah, it's got to be done, man. And the squash. Don't typically drink squash with fast food, though. Like a Coca-Cola. Do it like a Coca-Cola. Or, sometimes, if I'm feeling generous, like a milkshake. It's quite nice, isn't it? Or Pepsi if you're going to KFC. Pepsi's the one. Pepsi's the one. Right, are we caught up with Super Chats? I believe we are. I want to do a bench list. I also want to throw up a poll for captaincy, see where you guys are at. I think the main captaincy options are going to be Saka and Palmer. So the poll is going to be, who is your Gameweek 21 captain? Right, before I do put this poll up, guys, obviously it's Saka and Palmer are the two main two. Who else? Who else is like a big captain shout for this game week? Throw in the chat, guys, who you think is, a really, really good captain this week, who isn't Palmer or Saka. And we'll maybe add them as a third option just to see if I've kind of overlooked anyone. It's possible I have overlooked one. LB says, you missed my super chat from earlier. I don't think I did read out your one super chat from you, LB. But I'll have a look again just to double check. Oh, you were saying about being at 910k, and I told you, don't worry, my friend, because I was the worst last season, and I ended up 30k, so you're fine. That's what I said. Right, Game Week 21 captains, Saka, Palmer, and according to the chat, it's a real mixed bag. A real mixed bag. Tony Alvarez and Watkins seem to be the main three. Tony Alvarez and Watkins. But there's no, I don't know. There's no consistency here. Not enough people own Tony, so I'm not going to put him in. Alvarez and Watkins, I think you could maybe throw them in. I think Alvarez is genuinely a really decent captain pick. Not as convinced by Watkins, to be honest. I'm going to throw in Alvarez. I'm going to throw in Alvarez as the final option there. And if you are not going for him, then you've always got the other option. So Saka, Palmer, Alvarez, and other. Boom. Let's go, baby. Let's see what you guys have got for me. And whilst doing that, let's take a quiet meander down to the world of the bench list. One of the few things that makes this deadline stream unique from other content creators, because there's so many now, isn't there? So many deadline streams. Honestly, every game week I log in to do the deadline streams. I'm just so gassed that you guys have chosen me, because there really is so many great options for deadline streams these days. So yeah, appreciate you guys joining me. Right, let's bring up the bench list, and yeah, let's throw some players on there. So I'm gonna put let's put Trippier on there. Let's put Pedro Porro. Let's probably put in Archer here. You know what? I low-key want Mubama above Trippier. Obviously, you play Areola above Dubravka, above Turner, like that. You probably play Raya You know what? I'm actually going to go one step further. I'm going to put Ray at top of the list. I'm going to put Ray at top of the pile. Other defenders, you know, Taylor maybe, which reminds me, I probably should switch my bench order a little bit. I'll put Trippier above Taylor. Update that real quick. But yeah, let me know what other players you want me to put on the bench list now. Matt says Son to Gross and Mubama to Pedro, or Son to Jota and Salah to Gross. I'd rather keep Salah. So go with option A, Matt. I personally would rather keep Salah. That is my just me, but right. Esri Consa. People are saying Consa. Let's put Consa and Pal together. 2 pals. Get it? Pal. 2 pals. Let's put them both up here. Pal and Consa. Doughty. I think you probably put here. Gordon is an interesting one. Do we back the attacker? Maybe put Gordon here. He would go pretty high. Pascal Gross, I would put maybe above Pedro Porro. Or maybe not. No, I'm actually going to put... Yeah, I'm going to put Gross here. Definitely above Gordon. Definitely above him. Connor says, hi Dan, I have a starting 11, but will have to play Archer or Burn. Do I take a -4 for Pedro or Solanke for Archer or Burn for a Stupinian or Stick? Depends what your future plans are, really. If you're upgrading Archer, then it should be part of a wider strategy. I think Burn is actually... I know it's not ideal for this game week, but in 2 game weeks' time, Burn plays against Luton. And then, who's after that? Forest, maybe, for Newcastle. So the fixtures do turn soon for Newcastle. So I don't think Burn is going to be a bad player to have in the longer term. We're not expecting any blank game weeks for Newcastle either until at least game week 29. So Burn's going to be a decent little bench option, I think. So, yeah, out of the 2, I would be more inclined to upgrade Archer. But I don't hate it. I'm going to put Burn below Taylor. Because I think I'd rather take a punt on Taylor, hopefully playing. I mean, to be honest, it's not looking likely. It's not looking likely. But yeah, Archer to Pedro Porro, I like. Maybe consider doing that one. Maybe. Blicky says Taylor, Trent, Powell, Salah, Bowen flagged. Don't worry about Pal Torres. He'll be fine. Thinking about Bowen to Foden / Richarlison or Trent to Stupinian. Thoughts? You're going to have to do something. I think, aren't you? Or you're going to be playing with 10 men. Frustratingly, I think Bowen would be the player I'd most like to take out of those. Because Trent could be back next game week. And it's going to be a real nice pick whenever he is back. So, Bowen to Foden. Yeah, that's what I'd probably do, Blicky. I've gone off Richarlison big time because I think Spurs are probably going to blank in game week 26. And that worries me a little bit. Basically, you know, guaranteeing you're going to use a transfer in the future. All right, what else have we got here? Bowen, like if you have... I'm not going to put Bowen on the bench list because I know what happens every time I do something. Like every time I put an injured player on the bench list, people say, are they playing? No, it's a bench list. It's an order of who you bench. I mean, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. you don't understand the rules of the bench list. The rules of the bench list. It's not about who I think is going to play or not. It's more about who I would start in my FPL team. Which hopefully makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, Blicky, I would go for Bowen to Foden most likely. Nick Zero, thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. Really appreciate that. It's decent stuff. Decent stuff. New members, always good to see some new members. Throw some emojis in the chat if you like. The blackcurrant squash emoji is now, you know, within your powers. So do feel free to use that one. Every time someone puts a blackcurrant squash emoji in the chat, I do have to drink. Why Dubravka over Turner? Realistically, they're both conceding, and Dubravka's making more saves. That's the only way I could look at that. I mean, to be fair, Newcastle at home as well. Maybe they could have turned a corner. New year, new them. Maybe. Who's possibly? We'll see. Any other players to add to the bench list that is super important? Where do I put Leno? Leno plays against... Is he playing next week? I can't actually remember. Oh, no, they're playing against Chelsea, aren't they? Oh, okay. I would maybe put Leno here, because again, he's a goalkeeper who makes saves, unlike Turner, typically. Oh, the blackcurrant squash emojis here. Got a drink. I got a drink. Right, Noel with a super chat says, can field 11 starting Gusto, then you're good. But it's on to go on Nacho to leave it to Estupinian for a -4, or do I wait? I have Maguire too, plan on doing Darwin to Haaland the week after. So I would say Maguire is more the player to sell, isn't he? Now, if you can field 11, I wouldn't start taking minuses, really. Unless you've got someone in your starting 11 who you absolutely hate. And I guess Maguire would be that guy, right? It wouldn't be Gusto. I'd be more than happy to play Gusto this week. More than happy. I mean, I'm doing it. And I'm happy to do it. Santo Garnacho, he would probably be the guy I'd sell. I would definitely not sell an Arsenal defender for a hit. Definitely would not do that. But Son to a midfielder, whether that's Garnacho or someone else, is viable. It's viable. I don't despise it. Right, apparently we are missing players. Garnacho needs to go on here, supposedly. Garnacho. You can go... Where would I put you? Would I put him above Gross for this game week? No, I don't think I would. I put him above Gordon, though, for this game week. Tavernier and Bailey for the bench list. Okay, so Tavernier is playing against Liverpool. Bailey is playing against Everton. I think I would start with Bailey, to be fair. Probably start with Bailey like here. And a little bit tougher for Tavernier. I would maybe drop him down to here. João Pedro, you really want him on the bench list? I mean, I would start him for sure. He'd go at the top. He's genuinely a potential captain option. Genuinely a potential captain option. Van Heck. We've seen we've got a couple of wildcarders in the chat. Van Heck would go like here. Probably here. Not super high, but possibly worth a shout. Worth a shout. Brennan Johnson on the bench list. Put him like probably here. Something like that. Luton defenders. We've got Doughty there. Probably covers our Luton defenders, right? Bowen on the list. I'm not putting Bowen on the list. It will end in chaos. Believe me. Right, I have to put a caveat. Worth starting? I don't know. I would start, if I had Bowen, I would start him. Probably. But I wouldn't expect him to start. Can we change the text color maybe? You can't even read that, bro. Yeah, let's put him like that. Then no one could say, oh, you think Bowen's going to start? Because I don't. I really don't think he's going to start. Right, Zinchenko. Even if Zinchenko was available, do you think he would start? I don't know. After his form pre-injury. I guess you take a punt on him. Like here. Not high. I don't think. Oh, I don't know. Am I happy with that? Yeah, I really don't know about Zinchenko. In fact, I'm just going to take him off because I can't say this one with confidence, unfortunately. You're on your own, guys, I'm afraid. Zinchenko owners, you're on your own. Possible sell. Veer says, hi, Dan. Got Trent Kabore, Son, Salah, and Hechan all out. 1 free transfer, wildcard, or take a -4 and play Mubama. I mean, -4 is absolutely fine. I'd rather take a -4 than wildcard. For sure. Yeah, Just, yeah, hit that -4. Hee-Chan and Son are your priority transfers out. So I would remove Son and Hee-Chan. I think South Korea will go fast. Go fast? Go far? They'll go fast as well, but they'll mostly go far. Right. Let's see what the captain poll's saying. We've got a lot on other. Captain poll so far, we've got 1,337 votes. Remember, guys, if you haven't voted yet, do. Make sure you do vote. Palmer currently leading the way on 42%, Saka 39%, Alvarez 7%, and the glorious other on 12%. So a lot of people looking to go differential there. But yeah, it looks like Palmer and Saka are going to be really tight this week. Really tight. You guys want to know who Mrs. FPL Mate is captain? Do you want to know who Morgan's captaining this week? She's lost her mind. She's captaining Emerson. Yes, like Emerson from West Ham. And I'll share with you her reasoning. Let's just find Emerson. So this was her reasoning. So first of all, she knows that Emerson is playing against Sheffield United, and she knows Sheffield United are bad. Of her limited ball knowledge, she knows that Sheffield United are not exactly the strongest team in the Premier League, and potentially a team to target. Now, I did say people don't typically captain defenders that often, so I would look more towards your midfielders and your forwards. But she said, oh, no, but you know, look, Sheffield United's a really nice fixture. And, hey, Dan, have you seen Emerson's points recently? I was like, well, no, not really. I haven't paid close attention to it. I know West Ham have kept a few clean sheets recently. So she showed me this. 6 points, 6 points, 7 points, 9 points and 7 points. She reckons, because of this, he's probably going to average like a 7-pointer against Sheffield United, particularly as it's a nice fixture. And I can't completely fault that logic, to be fair. She's comparing him to Watkins and saying, well, Emerson's a really consistent player. He always gets at least 6 points. So I know if I captain Emerson, I'm getting at least 6 points. Whereas Watkins, which was her second favourite choice, she looked at Watkins and she said, yeah, sometimes he gets 7 points, but sometimes he gets 2 points. And that's not good enough for me. I want a guaranteed 6-pointer. And apparently that's what Emerson promises. So looking forward to Sheffield United beating West Ham 1-0. Although, to be fair, Mrs. FPL Mate's luck finally dipped last game week. She played a wild card in Gameweek 20. It was a bit of a disaster. Can I find her team, actually, from last game week? So this is her wildcard team. Like, because she's in a mini league with like a lot of our friends, I'm not allowed to help her directly. Like, she's free to watch my videos, but she doesn't. She knows a little bit, but mostly uses her own methods to pick players. Of course, she had no clue about AFCON, so she picked Salah. No clue about Asian Cup, so she picked Son. This was her wildcard last week, by the way. Trent got injured, McNeil got injured, Grealish got ill, and Senesi got suspended. So she wildcarded for 55 points when everyone was getting 80s and 90s, sometimes even 100s. And then she finds herself with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flagged players. So she's back in wildcard territory. She took a -4 in the end. I believe she took out McNeil and... No, it was Son and Grealish out. I think it was Son and Grealish out for Palmer and Foden. So pretty template moves. But that's her methods. She's got her methods and she sticks with them. The fact that she's playing Emerson and captaining him is quite frankly bizarre. But there's your Mrs. FPL Mate update for the week. I know a lot of you guys believe in the luck that she's been having recently and therefore will be trusting her moves, no matter what they are. Don't know. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Super chat from Paredes says, I have 2 free transfers, selling Son, keeping Salah. Like it. I'm leaning Gross for the long-term option rather than Richarlison or Foden. Thoughts? Yeah, Richarlison's definitely not a long-term option. Foden is going to be a risk later on as well. Foden does have the advantage of a double game week coming up, though. Gross leaves me with enough in the bank for 1 move to Haaland. Oh, then that's decided, Paredes. Yeah, Pascal Gross is your solution for sure. Looks good, my friend. Looks good. Here for FPL, here says, play share 21-22 or Purvis for a -4. Also, Flecken bench. All right, let's put Flecken on the bench list. I think Flecken would not be, like, bad for the bench list, right? Probably go in here. Not bad, not bad. But would I do Share to Purvis for a -4? I think I would. I think the difference between Share and, like, a Dan Burn is a Dan Burn you're happy to leave on the bench, but Share is, like, getting up there a little bit in price. In fact, would you be saving? I can't remember what Fabian Share's price is like these days. I mean, maybe it's dropped to, like, a 4.8, but yeah, Share to Purvis is sleeping out for a -4. I think it's going to help you out. FPL Dis is completely agree with her logic with regards to Emerson. Hey, man. Fair enough. Harley says Emerson captain movement. Like, guys, if you wanna join her on the Emerson hype, then please feel free. I can tell you, I will not be joining that particular hype train. But hey, crack on. What was the Mbumo thing she said? What was it? Mbumwe. Team Mbumwe. When someone thinks Mbumo is called Mbumwe, I don't know if you want to trust their captain picks, no matter how much luck that they have at their disposal. Yeah, moving on. Right, let's see. Let's have a think here. Surely Mubama won't start, though. I think he will. I don't know for sure, but I think he's got a good chance. Let me show you why. Actually, do I need to show you? I'll just tell you. Basically, when Paqueta got injured the other day in the game, it wasn't Danny Ings who came on first. It was Mubama. And Mubama played the majority of that game. So I think Ings, it has to be Ings or Mubama playing. There's no Paqueta, there's no Bolton, there's no Kudus. Someone's got to play up front. Antonio's injured, most likely. Who's it going to be starting up front for West Ham? Genuinely, possibly Mubama. Genuine possibility. And it's against Sheffield United as well. So there are worse picks in the world than Mubama this week. He's not a player I'm confident in at all. And in an ideal world, you wouldn't have to play him. But rather, if it's either play Mubama or take another -4, I don't hate it. It's fine. Right, Solanke for the bench list. He's going to go reasonably high. I think I'll put him, like, here, maybe? That's about right. Scott Tidd, thank you for the super sticker. I'm not sure if you meant to attach a message there, but Scott, do make sure if you did mean to put a message, just put a normal chat message. Don't worry about putting on another super chat. Be interested to see if you've got anything to say. Do appreciate all super chats, of course, though, and super stickers. Very much apreciado. Mucho apreciado. Anyone else? Does Jesus start? Yeah, I think Jesus will start for Arsenal. They've got a week till their fixture, and he's back in training. Jay Slater says, love the vid, Stan. I'm top 2.5k thanks to your videos. I'm really glad to hear it, man. Congratulations on the rank. Right, do we really want Diogo Jota and Estupiñán on the bench list? I mean, you're going to start these guys, right? You're going to start them. Like, oh, that's going to go yellow. Estupiñán goes there. What does he? Does he go ahead? No. Actually, to be fair, like, he goes here. And who else? Gusto bench list. Yeah, Gusto's a decent pick for this week. I'll maybe put him. Will I put him ahead of Doughty? I'm actually going to drop Tavernier down. Something like that might be a bit better. Colwell for the bench list. I guess similar situation to... Oh, wait, that's not meant to be Gross, is it? That's meant to be Gusto. Gross is up there. I guess I put Colwell in a similar situation. Maybe, like... Though... Actually, no. I'll drop Colwell down here because the attacking potential's not there. Scott says a super chatted without a message. No worries, man. -4 to move out Zinchenko. I mean... Zinchenko to Estupiñán, I think he could do worse. I think he could do worse than that transfer, even for a -4. I don't mind it, Scott. I really don't mind it. I think we might see a little bit less of Zinchenko moving forward, even when he does return from injury. I get it. I do get it. Walker on the bench list. All right. Kyle Walker. I would place Walker here. I think I'd put him there. Thoughts on Jota captaining? It's interesting. I like it. It's a nice differential. Definitely interesting. Tim says, long time sub, first time asker. Well, thank you for asking, Tim. You're always welcome. Anyone, all new, all askers are welcome. But thank you for watching for so long. Will Matty Cash play this game week? Please, thanks. If I had to guess, I would say no. If I had to guess. Dixion says, hey Dan, your thoughts on Neto? He's an interesting pick. I don't love him as a pick. He's okay. He's okay, I would say. Pinnock for the bench list. We can throw Pinnock in here. Let's shove him in there. Let's shove him in there. Jorge says, Captain Darwin. Oof. Again, I don't hate it. I don't hate the Darwin captain shout. I really don't. Jean-Pierre Detois says, Tony captain over Saka or Palmer. Again, don't mind it. Don't mind it. Honestly, there's a lot of genuine captain shouts this game week that I think are, you know, worth a look at. The safe picks are Saka and Palmer. There's no problem going outside the template. There's absolutely no problem doing that at all this week. There's a lot of good options. Tony, João Pedro, you know, Jota, Darwin, Watkins, Alvarez, Foden. Like, all of these picks are genuine captaincy contenders. Super chat from Ed says, please give a shout out to my son Liam. Absolutely, my pleasure. Liam, big shout out to you, brother. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're an FPL manager, just like your, I'm going to guess, father, based on the name Ed. Could be mother, but I think father. Hopefully you're an FPL manager like your father, and hopefully you're going to beat him as well. So good luck, Liam, this game week and for the rest of the season. Big shout out to you, my friend. CFC Ethan with the super chat says, took out Son and Salah for Foden and Gross. No hits. And bench Trent. Also, Gabriel bench this. All right, well, I mean, look. You got yourself a full 11 without a hit. I think that's a decent start. Gabriel on the bench list, we can sort you out there. I'll put him pretty high. Probably above all defenders outside of Estupinian and Pedro Porro. I'm going to throw him in here. There you go. Let's put Saliba alongside him as well. That makes sense. Nigel the Crab says, I love Neto. Dan, someone needs to. I guess so. I mean, he's an interesting pick, if nothing else. He's fun. He's a fun pick. We know he had great form before his injury. He's very, very cheap. He was consistent. I mean, anytime a player comes back from a long time, you know, on the sidelines, you never fully know. And I don't love the fixture against Brighton, but all in all, he's a fine pick. He's fine. The fixtures again for Wolves, not hugely keen on, but it's okay, I guess. Roger Mack says, why should I put a premium player in the wild card? The reason I would put a premium player in my wild card is because, one, you're not going to spend all of your money anyway. And if you are, you're probably playing it wrong. Because, like, who are you buying? Like, seriously, if there's no Salah, Haaland, Son, or Trent Alexander-Arnold, where are you putting your money? You're probably just spending it for spending's sake. So you're going to have some free budget regardless. And by putting a premium player in your team, maybe on the bench, ready to start in the future, you put yourself one transfer ahead of the pack. So when everyone else is using a transfer to bring these players back in, you are ahead of the game. Now, a lot of people are actually keeping a Haaland or a Salah or a Trent on their bench currently. Maybe even two of those players. And if you wildcard and you don't have any of those players on your bench, you're actually going to find yourself behind the pack when it comes to transfers. So it's just to put you one transfer ahead of the game. That's why I would put a premium player in the wildcard, and I would make it one of Haaland or Salah, whichever one you think is going to come back first. I would suspect that'd be Haaland, but I guess you never know. Technically, we never know. Right, people want De Bruyne on this list. I'll put him in. If I had him, I would probably start him. But where would I put him? I would put him... I don't know if he's going to start. I'm not convinced if he's going to start. He'd go at least here. That's just that one-pointer worries me. Or the potential for a one-pointer worries me with De Bruyne. He's available to start, but that doesn't mean he will. You know, De Bruyne himself said he expected to be on the bench. Eshank says Trent to Estupinian and Son to Foden for a -4, or include Mubama to Pedro for a -8. Otherwise, I play Mubama as 11th player and Taylor on the bench because no news on him. I would maybe just play... I mean, there's argument to say play Taylor ahead of Mubama, but that doesn't really reflect in my bench list. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd take an additional -4 to do Mubama to Pedro. Really, I think I'll just stick with a -4 and just start with Mubama or Taylor and see what happens. To be fair, no, I think I would start Taylor above Mubama. Like, the more I think about it, and maybe even Archer. Yeah, let's. It's worth a try, isn't it? It's worth a try on him, even if he doesn't start. I think I would go that way. Something like that. Jamie Shield says, "Hey, Jota or Grob? It's giving me a headache." Grob is the safer pick of the two. Jota is the exciting pick. Do you want excitement in your life, or do you want safety in your life? That's the decision you got to make. Noel says, thanks, mate. Can field 11. Salah, Son, Maguire on the bench. Oh, okay. Son to Garnacho or roll. No point with Maguire out, as I don't have enough for Haaland in Gameweek 22. I mean, Son to Garnacho is not the worst idea, particularly if that's going to free up some budget for you. I mean, you're probably going to sell Son next week anyway. Probably. If you think Garnacho is a significant improvement on one of your starting 11, then I would probably just make that transfer now. Taylibra says, Estupinian captain, risky and fun. What do you think? Yeah, you nailed it. It is risky and it is fun. But look, we know Estupinian has the potential for a 15-pointer. He's got a 15-pointer in his locker. So, you know, I can't stand here and say he's a bad captain pick. Obviously, he's not. Wouldn't be my first choice. He is risky. He is risky. But if Brighton keep that clean sheet and Estupinian gets a goal involvement, you're flying. You're flying. So I like it, man. Yeah, I like it. Taylibra, go for it. Go for it. And tell me how it goes. Tell me how it goes when we do the next stream. Or you'll tweet me. Just yeah. I'll be thinking about what happens with that one, because I do love it when people go for a real differential, real high risk, high reward captain pick. I do love it. And I'd like to see how you got on and how you feel about how it went. And would you do it again? Bit of fun, right? Right. Let's see. Sell Tavernier or Bailey for Saka for -4, says Ali. Yeah, I would definitely consider doing that. Ben's story says, hi, Dan. Is it better to bring Foden in this week for -4 for Son and bench Archer, or wait and do it next week when I bring in Haaland for free? I think I would do it this week. Because you say you're going to do it for free next week, but, you know, you're going to have to do the -4 at some point, aren't you? You're going to sell Son at one point. Well, I may as well do it now and get an extra week of Foden in your team. He'll probably go up in price as well. He'll probably outscore Archer. All in all, it makes sense to do it now. You're going to have to do it anyway. Get ahead of it. Get ahead of it. Tony in the bench list. All right. Well, we can put Tony. This is, by the way, this is not a watch list. This is a bench list. So, but we'll put him in. Tony for this game week. I would drop him below João Pedro. I do prefer João Pedro to Tony this week. I do like Tony though. We've got a confirmed double game week for Tony as well, by the way, guys. I don't know if you guys caught that. Game week 25, Brentford are doubling. Now, granted, it is against Liverpool and City, so it's not the best double in the world, but still, double's a double. 4-pointer. Let's go. Oh crap! I haven't made my transfer, and it's 1 minute till deadline. I think I missed it. Have I missed it? I was talking too much. Have I missed the deadline? No, I haven't. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. My heart just went, oh wait, deadline's at 1:15. I thought it was at 6. No wonder no one was panicking me in the chat. There was me panicking for the deadline. I almost had a heart attack. Jesus Christ. What? Oh my word. I almost had a heart attack. I was thinking deadline's at 6, but it's 6:15. Oh my... I'm actually sweating. That was the fastest transfer move I've ever made. I swear to you guys, I loaded up the transfer page, found the player I wanted to transfer out and transfer in, all in the space of, I kid you not, 15 seconds? Oh my god, I'm sweating. I thought I'd screwed it. But no, I hadn't. So I just panicked myself for no good reason. I need to get some air in this room, man. That is one way. That is one way to get some sweat. It looks like I panicked a few of you guys as well. Oh dear. Copper Valley says, did you actually trick yourself this time, mate? Literally did. Literally just tricked myself. I'm so sorry if I panicked you guys as well. I'm so sorry. That I just scared myself. I think, you know why it is? It's because I started streaming at 5 today, and I usually stream 1 hour before the deadline, but I started 15 minutes early today. Dan, you absolute idiot. Absolute idiot. Well, hey, I mean, man, right. Can you imagine if, because I rushed my transfer, because I was panicking, that I made the wrong transfer? Can you imagine I made the wrong transfer and took out the wrong player or brought in the wrong player by mistake? Well, my team's locked in at least. Oh, dearie me. Oh, gosh. I actually need to recoup. I need to calm myself down. Get back in the game, guys. Right, anyway, where were we? Where were we? Right, I'm actually going to end the poll because I do want to do another poll. Because we are really close to the deadline now, and I'd like to get like an idea of where you guys are at on hits, wildcards, that kind of thing. Let's see where you guys are at. So, Saka is, right, we'll end the poll. Saka is the winner. So Saka actually ended up being the winner, overtaking Palmer as the most popular captain for Gameweek 21. Palmer coming in a very close second with 39%. So it was 42% Saka, 39% Palmer, 12% on other. So lots of differentials in there as well, and 5% on Alvarez. It's a really a split decision. But mostly it seems like Saka and Palmer are, for 80% of players, they're going to be your safe, your template, your standard captain choices. And then the rest is going to be split. Now, let's put up another poll. I want to see this, guys. What are you doing in Game Week 21? Or how do I phrase this? How, what are you doing in Game Week 21? Let's just put that. Are you taking a -4, -8 or more? Are you wildcarding? Or are you just on the free transfers? Free transfers or no transfers? Actually, I'll just put free transfers because that kind of encompasses no transfers as well. So if you are not making transfers, click on free transfers because you're not taking a hit, you're not wildcarding. So yeah, polls up in the chat, guys. Let's see where you guys are at, because I ran this poll on Twitter earlier, and was a case of only around a third of all of the people were avoiding a hit or a wild card this week. So 2 in 3 FPL managers will be either taking a hit or wildcarding. So you're in good company. If you are taking a hit, if you are wildcarding, you are in the majority. You really are in the majority. So we'll come back to that in a moment, I suppose. CFC Ethan says, who did you replace Son with? I replaced him with Foden. Replaced him with Foden in the end. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how that would go. It was Foden versus Jota for me in the end. It came down to those two players. Jota, I'm just worried with Jota with that blank in 26. I think that was the deciding factor. And the way the Man City schedule was falling a little bit, I think lends itself to Foden getting minutes as well. The only minor concern is that Pep's comments about De Bruyne today slightly cooled me on Foden, but that's the only thing that cooled me on Foden. I don't think there is one good Son replacement. That's the difficult thing. Like, no matter who you pick, there's going to be downsides, there's going to be upsides, there's going to be downsides to whichever player you go for. So, what can you do? What can you do? Mr. Super Chat from Blizzard. I do apologise, Blizzard. Blizzard says, Captain Palmer, Foden, Saka, or go rogue in Jota. The people have spoken in the chat, and they reckon Saka's the best captain. So, the chat reckons Saka. I think it's a coin toss between Saka and Palmer. Do you guys want a coin toss? I haven't done a coin toss in a while. Maybe that will fix the situation. I've got a different remote I haven't used before. It's quite a large one. We have got a super chat from Laser Sharp, £10. Thank you very much, Laser Sharp. Very, very generous. Dan, why do you prefer Saka over Palmer as captain? I don't. I prefer Palmer. I'm a very pessimistic Arsenal fan, and I'm never fully convinced by Arsenal. I think both Arsenal and Chelsea probably score a similar amount of goals. Maybe Arsenal do a bit better, but I expect Chelsea to score 2 goals. I expect Arsenal to probably score 2 goals as well in each of their game. Chelsea may be a little bit riskier when I make that shout, but if we're saying Chelsea scored 2 goals and Arsenal scored 2 goals, I'll be more confident in Palmer being involved in those 2 goals than Saka being involved in his 2 goals. To be more confident, because generally speaking, we have seen, well, first of all, Arsenal just not finishing very well, but mostly the Arsenal goals are so split. It'll be Jesus, Saka, Martinelli, Havertz, Declan Rice chipping in, the centre-backs scoring from set pieces. You know, we could really be it come from anywhere, man. It really could. Whereas Chelsea seems to be only Palmer who gets attacking return. Nobody else gets attacking returns for Chelsea other than Palmer, which is mad. But obviously, there is a split a little bit more. But the numbers suggest that the Arsenal are a much more balanced side in terms of who's getting the attacking returns, and Chelsea are more geared towards Palmer getting involved. And obviously, both players on penalties, but Palmer is more secure on those penalties. Both players on set pieces. I think Palmer is becoming more of a set piece than Saka, set piece taker than Saka is, with Ødegaard in the team. It's actually Ødegaard and Martinelli take a lot of set pieces for Arsenal as well. So Palmer's potentially taking more likely on penalties, more likely on set pieces, and more involved in the goals that Chelsea do score. So that's the reason I'm going for Palmer. But they're both great shouts. I don't think Palmer is the clear best choice or anything like that. I'm splitting hairs. I really am. I'm looking for minor things to make a decision, because when you are on like a 50-50 decision, you do have to find those little reasons. James Parfit says, should I take a -4 for Lascelles or Trippier for Pedro Porro? No, don't think I'll do that. And which should I take out? If so, please. I don't think I would do that, James. I don't think I would do that, James. First of all, like Pedro Porro, he's probably going to be blanking in Gameweek 26. The fixtures are mixed for Spurs, so he's not like an automatic way to success. I think Estupinian is a better pick than Pedro Porro in general at the moment. So, and also Lascelles, yes, he's going to be a player you have to remove soon. Trippier, I think you can hold on the bench for 2 more game weeks, and then everyone's going to want Trippier again. So yeah, Lascelles has got to go at some point, but I don't think I'd take a -4 to remove him for Pedro Porro. Palmer or Jota captain? I prefer Palmer. Hopefully that answers answers that one. Righty ho. Let's see. Let's have a look to see what the poll is saying. So, got 994 votes. Actually, we've just gone above 1,000 votes. So thank you guys for voting in that poll. Really, really do appreciate that. 31% on free transfers. How crazy? How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Oh, so in this chat today, over 2/3 of FPL managers will not be using free transfers only this week. They'll be taking hits or using wildcards. 14% on a -8 or more. 14% wildcarding in the first wildcard week. The first opportunity to use the second wildcard. And 14% are using it straight away. That's big numbers. That's big numbers. And 40% on a -4. I mean, that's just the tail of the game week, isn't it? Everyone's taking hits. Everyone's, feeling the pressure. Not everyone, but a lot of people. Most people are feeling the pressure of this game week. There's a lot. There's a lot. The injuries didn't help in addition to AFCON. Because you can plan AFCON and Asian Cup as much as you like and try and avoid those players and try and, navigate it earlier. But if players are getting injured, if Bowen and Trent and Elise and whoever else are all getting injured, Taylor, there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, not making early transfers helps. But, some people wanted the team value, which is an absolutely viable strategy. Rough week. Rough week. Really is. We did do a captain poll MM, and Saka was, I think it was Saka 42%, Palmer 39%. So Saka just edging Palmer on the captaincy poll. Right, this time, guys, we really are getting close to deadline. So this is not a trick. I was going to do a coin cost, so we'll do a coin cost before for the captaincy. Right. Okay, guys. So for those of you guys who are new to the coin cost, once in a stream, I wanted to decide a 50-50 decision with a coin toss. I thought it would be funnier to say coin toss. Kind of a bit of a, what is it called, a spoonerism? When you switch the letters around. We did a little bit of a spoonerism and said coin toss, but I didn't have a coin. So I just used this an LED remote. I actually historically used the smaller one. I used the smaller LED remote. But we've got a larger one now that we're going to use for the coin toss. And we're going to flip it. And whatever it lands on, if you can't decide between Saka and Palmer, you just want to go with you want to go with pure luck of the coin cost and see what the coin cost decides for you. Then yeah, feel free to go for it. So we'll do Palmer on the colourful side, Saka on the boring side, because I think Saka is probably the slightly more boring pick, I guess. So yeah, plain Saka, colourful Palmer. I'm going to flip it up. We're going to see where it lands. So I'll just throw it onto the desk. I caught it. Whichever way is face up, if you are going with the coin toss, this is your captain. You ready? Coley Palmer. It's Coley Palmer. If you want the 50-50 decision, you got it. And it's Cole Palmer. Pranav with the super chat says, João Pedro or Tony up front, or should I bring in Jota? You are really, really pushing it fine. Very, very close to the deadline, Pranav. I've gone for João Pedro, but I think it's more of a budget question, really. Question of budget. I think maybe João Pedro, though. Maybe João Pedro. Tony is a fun pick, though. Very much a fun pick. Toss a coin to your Witcher. Toss a coin to your Witcher, you mean? The coin has spoken. Indeed, the coin has spoken. Matthew says, hurry up, you may forget transfer. Don't worry, I already hurried up and didn't forget my transfer. Let's just make sure, let's just refresh the page because we are super close to deadline now. I'm going to lock in Palmer captain. But remember, guys, I have the worst captain luck in the world at the moment, or this season at least. So yeah, don't presume it's correct. And we'll show you my team. I did say I was just going to show you. I've already told you what I've done, to be fair, but we might as well throw it on screen. So this is where I am at, you guys. We have gone Son to Foden and Mubama to Joao Pedro. Bench order is as it is. We're keeping Salah. It's pretty much what I said what I'd do in yesterday's video, to be fair. But I did say in that video, it could be Jota, it could be Foden by deadline. It's going to be one of those two. And I have ended up on Foden. So there you go. He's doing well. He's doing well. He's in the team. He's ready to go. He's ready to go. Show team gang, come outside. Hopefully you got there in time, show team gang, to see the team. Hopefully you saw. But there we go, guys. The deadline has passed. FPL, it's back! Yay! Woo! FPL's back. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. I'm actually really excited. The one annoying thing is that the games are spread out. I don't just want it all now. I want all of the games now. I want them all now. But that's not going to be possible. We're going to get drip feeding. Starting off with Burnley versus Luton. Whoa. Who cares? No, I'm just kidding. Some people care. I probably still will watch it. But yeah, tomorrow is the big day, really. Chelsea versus Fulham. Lots of captaincies on Palmer. And we've got Newcastle versus City. Lots of people with Foden in their team. And Alvarez. Could be fun. Maybe some people on De Bruyne. I've been waiting for the early team news on that one, I'm sure. Honestly, it does look like this weekend is more significant than the following weekend. Unless you captain Saka. That could change things, potentially. But there we go. I'm going to end the poll as well. Ends up on 39% on a -4. 31% on free transfers. 14% on -8 or more. And 14% on a wild card. 1,500 votes, so a pretty decent little scope of responses there. We've got a decent sample size. And, yeah, looks good. Looking good. Looking good. So, yeah. Congratulations, guys. We made it past another deadline. I'm not going to stick around today because do people really care about really care that much about the team news for this game? I mean, I guess some people will probably be wondering about Taylor. But, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there, I think. I want to go get some food. I want to go get some food. I don't know. I've got a bit of time. I'm probably going to play a bit of FIFA tonight. I'll play a bit of FIFA before the football starts. Sounds like a fun evening. No FPL, Mrs. FPL, mate. She's working. So we're going to chill out, watch the football, play a bit of Xbox. It's going to be a chill evening, I think. Hopefully you guys are going to have a nice evening as well. Good luck to everyone. Hope you all do very well this game week. I'm so curious to see how this game week plays out. I think it's going to be super, super interesting. Super, super interesting. It's going to be a fun one. I'm excited. Let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. But yes, guys, I will see you. I'm going to drop a video possibly on Sunday or Monday. I'm going to do an early look at chip strategy. We're going to do an early look at chip strategy, which will then update when we get more information closer to the Gameweek 22 deadline. But yeah, looking forward to sharing some thoughts and sharing some observations in that one and how we can start navigating that one, because it is going to be really, really important to navigate these double and blank game weeks and how we're going to use our chips. So yeah, hopefully I'll see a few of you guys there. But aside from that, like I say, good luck this game week. Enjoy. FPL's finally back. We've all missed it, I'm sure. And yeah, I will see you later, mates. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.